This video we're going to install Windows 8 into a multi-boot environment. We have a development computer that has 3 operating systems running on it now. We've created a 4th empty partition called Win8 Pro Test that we're going to install Windows 8 to. We go in and show our config manager. You'll see where these partitions are. We have our main C drive running off a SSD drive that loads the main operating system. Then we also have 2 other operating systems loaded as primary partitions on a bigger drive. And we've created a 3rd blank drive called Win8 Pro Test that we're going to install Windows 8 to. When you have multi-operating systems installed, the bootini is modified where it has entries for each operating system. When the system boots, it'll come up and present you with a choice of which operating system to boot to, and then it'll default if you don't make a choice to whatever you have set for the default boot system. They have command line utilities that you can edit the bootini with in Windows. However, EasyBCD is a free download. It's a boot manager editor that works a lot better than the built-in system. We're just poking around in here right now. I've got my Win8 installation files loaded on the main C drive in a directory. It doesn't matter if you're loading it off of a DVD, CD, ISO, or the actual files themselves. If you install Windows from the setup exe and the boot root directory, it will default to the primary drive and override any system that's there. So we don't want to do that. If you go into your sources directory on your installation disk, there's another setup exe in there that if you run it will give you the option to pick which partition or drive that you want to install to. And we're just going to go ahead and install the system, and here we get to choose which partition or drive we want. So we'll install it to Windows 8 Pro Test that we've already created that's blank right now, and then just go through your regular operating installation routines. Here's where we specify which partition to go to. And it's going to reboot your system automatically 2 or 3 times to install. So from here you can skip ahead. I'm not sure how far on this video. 5 or 6 minutes anyway, unless you want to know what it looks like while you're installing Windows 8. Of course, this is sped up somewhat from actual installation. Basically, you just have to make a few settings. And your options may, of course, be different than what I'm showing you here, because I'm just basically trying to install the system. I'm not going to set it up customized to what I'm going to use it for, because all we're doing is installing for this video. I'm also using my little camcorder to record this portion of the video, since my video software is running off my main computer, and I can't capture the other monitor, the dedicated monitor for that computer. So until we get the system booted back up where I can remote into it, I have to use this camcorder. But we're not doing anything particular anyway in it. Windows tells you you can move your mouse into any corner on Windows 8 to bring up that menu, but they lie. It's only the upper right corner. They probably changed it before they pushed it out the door and didn't get around to changing the video yet. Now Windows 8's booted up into its new touchscreen environment screen. You'll notice there's no start menu button. You can go into your desktop, but it's not straightforward. I don't like the touch environment. I guess it's good for people that's got a touch operating hardware that they could use it for, but for people like me that are mostly programmers and have been using Windows for years and years and years and don't have any use for a touchscreen environment, it's a pain in the butt to get around it. Our next video is going to show you how to install a program called Start 8 from Stardock Software. It's a $5 shareware program that will replace the start menu button in the Windows taskbar and also boot directly to the desktop, bypassing the touchscreen environment. I'm installing EasyBCD onto this new Windows. Well, we've already booted out of Windows and back into my main development computer, and we're editing the boot entry that Windows 8 created automatically when it installed itself, recognizing that it was in a multi-boot environment when it installed. EasyBCD lets you name each boot partition whatever you want to, and you can move them up and down and change which one is the default and specify your start delay. When the system boots up, it'll present you with the menu of your operating systems and which one it'll let you override which one to boot to. If not, it'll boot to the default. I usually set mine for a 5-second delay because if I'm booting into another operating system, I'm usually sitting there waiting for it anyway. Go back into EasyBCD, and in the utility section down there at the bottom, there's some software that you can install. One of them is iReboot. If you install that, it'll put it in your tray, and then you can control your boot directly from this menu here instead of having to go into your EasyBCD to boot or change your settings. Makes it handy when you want to boot from one operating system to another. Now we're back in our Windows 7 primary environment, and we're basically done. We're just going to pull up EasyBCD again, look at our settings. One thing about EasyBCD, I've noticed on version 2.2, I think it is, whatever I'm using, yeah, 2.2. When you install your iReboot from your useful utilities, it'll come up here in a second. There's a bug in the 2.2 version that it won't actually install I had to reinstall 2.1, install the iReboot, and then install the 2.2 over the top of it. I think that's been fixed now with a later release 2.2 something or other, but I'm not sure. So if you can't install iReboot here, download an older version and put on it to install it, and then if you want the newest version, you can install over the top of it. Once iReboot's installed, then it'll work right. And this is the iReboot section of it. It allows you to pick a partition and boot from one operating system and have it boot up another operating system without having to wait for the menu on the boot. And you can set your default there also. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching.